This is silly.
It is a little bit.
Okay.
It is.
Okay.
So I just want to hear your whole life story,
Like what?
like everything.
Okay. Yes, I'm here.
So
Okay.
let's
No, what is it? Ask direct questions,
absolutely,
please.
absolutely. So I understand that you were born in Italy.
Yes.
Where were you born?
To, to Salto, Italy.
To Salto. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. And how old were you when your family moved to the U.S.?
Oh, well, my dad was here.
He was already.
Yeah, I have to go back to my grandfather.
Okay, then please do.
My grandfather could not find work in Italy, and he had 4 kids, maybe more for all I remember. But anyway, he traveled to different cities.
Mhm.
I think he went to North Africa, and he came to the United States on the West Coast. And when he came to the United States, he brought his two of his sons. Yeah, and so they were working with let me see. They were working where they were cutting down trees, doing the trees and everything.
Okay.
And I think somebody was cooking.
Okay.
One of the two, three. Anyway, so my grandfather heard rumors of war in Europe.
That would have been World War I?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So he decided it was time to go back home and be there. And his son Luigi did, but Norm did not. He stayed. And Norm was then he was asked to join the service, the army. Yes. So he was in the army. He said he went in the army as a private and came out as a private. And anyway, so he was working here and decided to go visit after the war because nobody went anywhere during the wartime. He wanted to go visit his mother, and while he was there, he met my mother. Okay. All right. And so he was there couple of years, because my mother had one baby, the first one who died before he was a year old, and then she had me. But while she was pregnant in Italy, he was working here already. Okay. And so I was born, and by the time he got all the paperwork done and everything to come here, I was 16 months old. In January, is that of January? Okay. And so here we come across the ocean, my mother and me. And it was January, not the best weather. No, but we were strong. We ate and walked around the ship and everything. A lot of people were seasick too bad. I don't know what that is like. And so we arrived here, and we took the train. We got on a train and took a train to Roslyn, somewhere in Washington State. Okay. Okay. And along the way, my mother had a notice on her, pinned to her, because she could not speak English. Okay. And so we would show the notice to the people who helped other strangers at the airports and no, not at the airport, wrong word. Yeah, it would be the railroad tracks. Yeah. So we were helped very nicely by everybody, and we were met by my dad in Washington. Okay. Yeah.
And what kind of work was he doing?
Do you know? I don't know what kind of work you. It didn't apply to me.
Okay.
Anyway, they were there in Roslyn for at least a couple years because my brother, my William Bill, he was born there,
Okay.
and then some friend of his told us that we should come down to Oakland because they had good jobs. Okay, so we came to Oakland. We found a tiny little house, 2-bedroom, and we all moved in. Yeah. And then my other brother was born.
So you and then 2 younger brothers.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. And what kind of work did your dad do in Oakland? Was he in like
Yeah.
construction or
Oh, well, I think whatever was available.
whatever was available?
Always, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So, what is like your earliest memory that you have from when you were a child or a kid?
Well, the first one would be when Vincent was born. My brother,
You have a brother?
Bruno.
Bill?
Bru-
Okay.
Bruno.
Bill and
Bill
Bruno.
was the older one. Bruno was the second. Okay, when he was born, he was born at home with a doctor at our house. And in the meantime, my one brother and I were sent to visit with this lady. And she felt very important, and to have 2 young people in the house was big of her. Okay. Yeah, so we were there all day. When we came home, there was a new baby, and that was about it.
Okay. And how old were you? You think?
I think it's 3
3?
going, yeah. No.
Okay. What? I guess what year would that have been? What year? What year were you born?
I was born in 31.
31.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So, what was it like growing up in the 30s and into the 40s?
Well, I was going to school, to the local grammar school, and then eventually we went into Second World War, and
Yeah.
again, and so I was friends with a Japanese girl that lived in the area. She was gone. Yes, and there were different people that we knew. There was a man who raised pigeons, so we had pigeons once a month for Sunday.
Okay.
For Sunday, yes.
Okay.
And until the 5th grade, and then I went to the Catholic school,
Okay.
and not Michael, I'm sorry, Bruno and Bill went there too. That was it.
So, about World War II, what do you remember about the war starting and like how things developed? Do you remember much of?
I don't remember too much of what was going on because
I mean, you would have been a
reading the newspaper was not my
kid.
deal.
Yeah.
Okay, at the time.
Yeah.
All I can remember is we used to save fat from bacon and different things.
Okay.
Okay, so we would go to the meat market. He knew us, and we'd bring our bacon fat and give it to him.
Okay.
Yeah, and then of course we were allowed only 2 pairs of shoes for the year.
For the year.
Okay. And then, other than that, I don't remember.
Okay. Did you have a best friend from that period?
Well, I told you before, and
Yeah.
she was Japanese,
Yeah.
and I think she was probably sent to a camp.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Did you have any other friends from school?
Oh yeah, one girl, because I was very shy. So she lived in San Leandro
Okay.
and took the bus to the same school I went to.
Okay.
Hmm.
What was her name? Remember?
Well, she died a while ago, so
Oh,
I don't remember at this moment.
okay.
All I know, which was a terrible thing to remember, her mother had cancer, lung cancer, and she had been a smoker all her life,
Mhm.
and she was not supposed to smoke anymore. And one day her daughter found her at the back of the house smoking away. And she got so angry with her, I can remember that. Yeah, that was all.
Okay. Okay. Do you have like what would you say your fondest memory from childhood? What would you say? Your fondest memory from childhood?
I think that my father, and he was an Italian, old Italian, I think he showed very good care of me. And I don't know if it could because I was a girl and the only girl, or because he was that way with his two sons. Yes. So he was more than an Italian father. Very loving, but strict.
Yeah, it's fair.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, what does anything stand out in particular about your dad? Any moments in particular?
He got mad at my mother for something, and he was yelling. I can remember he was yelling. And I came out from my bedroom and yelled at him. And boy, he gave me a spanking. The only one I ever got.
Okay.
Yeah, he said, when it's between me and your mother, it's our business, not yours. To a certain degree, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Funny.
But I never did hear him yell anymore after that. At least I didn't hear it.
Not around you, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Okay. Um. Okay. Yeah. So, did you go to college at all, or?
No, I don't consider it. I went into college only for courses, individual courses that I thought I'd like, but I did not go to college as such. No, I finished high school and I got a job and went to San Francisco every day to work.
Okay. What was the job?
Insurance company, a clerk.
Okay, just a clerk.
Mm.
And I guess yeah. How was high school for you? What was that like?
High school, I was too shy to really participate. Like everybody would get all excited about going to the prom.
Mhm.
I didn't go.
Mm.
And there was, of course, this is usual, there was a girl who was always well dressed and a very, very pretty girl. But she got everybody's attention. They all wanted to be like her, you know. That's all I can remember.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess let's move on a little bit. When did you meet Jiddu? When did you meet him?
Well, I got, yeah. He was, I went to my brother Bill's apartment. He was married at the time. And Norm came in to in between the job of delivering newspapers, which was a part-time job for him.
Mhm.
And I saw him there. He came to the house one time or two. We went on I guess, a dinner date. And then little by little, we just decided maybe we were okay with each other.
Okay. So, what year roughly would that have been? Would that have been the early 50s, or I'm trying to think of timeline here.
Why would I forget my wedding day?
No, I meant when you met, like when
Well,
you
you
first.
met about 6 months before.
Oh, okay. So it was quick.
Quick,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So I guess then, what was the day that you guys got married? When was that?
It was June June the 6th, and I don't remember the
You don't
year.
remember the year?
That's terrible.
Oh, it's 64 years this year. Is that right, or 63 years?
63.
63. So it would have been, doing quick math, would that have been either 50 or 51 then?
50 or 51.
No, wait. No, I'm bad at math. Hold on. Let me calculate this.
You are bad at math.
I'm bad at math.
Oh,
At least head math. Like, I
okay.
get conceptually, but doing
Okay.
arithmetic, I'm no
Okay.
good.
Say 50 and what's 50? And
No, it would have been 60. No,
it would have been less.
50 something.
Yeah. It would not be in the 40s because I
Yeah.
remember graduating.
How old were you, I guess, when you got married?
I was 28, 9.
So then late 50s then.
Okay.
Late 50s.
We worked it out.
Yeah. All right. So how did dating work in the 50s then? What was involved?
Again, you can't compare it with anybody else.
Sure.
With the two of us, we went just a few places, met a few people, and went to Norm's his mother's house for dinner to meet them. And I don't know what I did. I took one of her dinner plates, her good ones, and I hit my head for it with a reason. I was talking to them, and I broke it in half.
Oh, no.
That's a good way to meet your future mother-in-law.
Oh, no. Okay. How did she react to that?
Nothing. My father-in-law said, I think they're going to have a good marriage. Yeah. He says, it's a good start.
Okay. Okay. And what was, I guess, the inverse of that? What was it like when Jiddu first met your parents or your family?
Oh, he had been meeting them already.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yes. Because like one time we went to San Francisco for a dinner date. And yeah. So he came to pick me up. And so he met them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what was it about him that you liked? What was it that made you think, yeah, I'll marry this guy?
At that time, he was taller. He's lost a lot of weight. And I thought he was good looking.
Okay.
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 Yeah.
Anything about him, like his character or his personality, that you were drawn to?
I don't know what it was. No, I really don't know what it was, but he was interesting. Yes, he was good.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. So how did he propose to you?
He proposed to my father.
Okay.
Okay, he went to him and asked for my hand. Yeah, my dad said, "Oh, go take her."
Do you get a say in it? Or?
No,
No.
not at that time. No,
Okay.
I knew he was going to ask her. That's all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
And then what was the wedding like?
A small wedding in Oakland.
Okay.
We got married in church, and then afterwards we went to a restaurant in the Oakland area, where, what would you call that area now? At that time it was a place to go to find a nice restaurant, to have a nice drive, to meet people. Yeah,
Okay.
so that's where it was.
Okay. Anything crazy or memorable happen at the wedding?
No.
No.
Mm-mm. It was not a big fancy wedding.
Sure.
It was just our family and friends. Yeah.
And was did you like grow up looking forward to your wedding day like a lot of girls do, or was it not really something you?
No,
No.
I was not thinking of my wedding date other than I didn't think there was going to be one.
Oh, why is that?
Because you have to be glamorous. Even then, like I told you about that young lady, that beautiful lady who dressed well because her parents had a lot of money. And this time that we were dating was, we'd been through the Depression, and so we were careful. Yeah.
So, what was early married life like? What did you guys do? I assume you guys moved into your
An
own place.
apartment,
Okay.
okay, near your mother. No, near your grandmother, your great grandmother, Norm's wife, mother.
That would be great grandma.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, she had a house there, and she had an avocado tree,
Okay.
a big one, and she used to give them away because there was too many to eat, even though they're good for you, Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. His mom and dad lived there for quite a while. Yeah. Lucky. Yeah.
Do you need something for that, or?
Well, I will later.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um.
Would you do that?
Let's take it. So, what was like? Were you both working at that point, or was it just JD working?
He was working, and so I'm going to school
Okay.
because he graduated after my Michael was born.
Okay.
Okay, because we all went to the graduation.
Okay.
Yeah. Permanente. Who's the head of Permanente? Anyway, the man that founded it during the Second World War, he was graduating and getting a degree. So that was a especially special occasion. Yeah.
So I guess you mentioned Uncle Mike,
Yes.
your firstborn.
Yeah.
When was he born? Like how far into?
1 year.
A year into your marriage?
Yeah.
And were you nervous about being a mom, or?
Yeah, sort of.
Yeah.
But then I figured that all women just had babies. Some of them had them hard, which was too bad, but some of them had them easy. I don't know why it is that some women could just have a baby in the car on the way to the hospital, but they do. Yeah.
Were there any complications with your? No.
Mm-mm. No.
Okay. So I gotta ask, what made you pick the name Michael?
Because I liked it. It was simple to use for him, and because he's protected by the guardian angel, Michael the archangel. So I picked it for him. So it would be a protection for him.
Okay.
Hmm.
And how was Mike as a kid when he was young? How was he? Was he one of those troublemakers, or was he?
No, not a troublemaker. No, he was into a lot of things, but not a troublemaker in the sense of damaging or, yeah, no, he was just curious.
What kind of hobbies did he have? Do you remember?
Nope.
No.
Mm.
Okay. And then my mom was born after him, right? She was number 2.
Number 2, 2 years later.
2 years later. Okay.
Yeah,
What was that like?
just a baby girl,
Just a baby. Okay. And what made you pick the name Donna?
Donna. Because again, she is named after the Blessed Mother. Blessed Mother is Donna. Okay. That's it.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. And then what about Vince? How much later did he come along?
3 years.
3 years. Okay.
Yeah.
And then also, what made you pick Vincent?
Vincent, we had a hard time picking some name.
Mm-hmm.
And finally we heard this is this singer or he wrote music. Vincent someone. And so we said, gee, Vincent sounds good. So we named him Vincent.
Okay. It's funny to me that you're like, oh, Michael the Archangel.
Yeah.
This is a great, and then, Vincent, that'll do. It's just like,
yeah. And then
Joe.
And Joe came back, came 11 and a half years later.
So why the gap? Why 11 years?
Because we weren't planning on having any more. So we actually didn't plan on him. He came, and he's a blessing.
Yeah.
He is a big blessing because you have a chance to meet God through him.
What do you mean by that?
Well, God gave him to us, and he has not given us one bit of trouble. And people who see him love him. They do. In church, people love him. Yeah, they don't get a chance to see him otherwise. But yeah, he's very quiet, which is a pity. And he's not high on the intellectual scale. Some of the other children with Down syndrome can do different things. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And did you? I don't know what the technology was at the time. Were they able to tell that he was Down syndrome while you were pregnant, or not until he was born?
No, I don't remember anybody said anything. But as soon as he was born, they knew.
Right.
Yeah. And I didn't know a thing about Down syndrome. Nothing.
Was that difficult for you then, or?
I didn't give it too much thought. I got a pediatric doctor, and he couldn't handle it. Now, isn't that something?
Yeah.
He didn't know if he wanted to continue in his field of medicine. He wanted life to be easier for him, and he thought that having a Down syndrome child would be difficult. And I can't understand that, but because he didn't have them. But at that time, a lot of the children were put away in homes of different kind, hospitals and different things, places.
Yeah.
And so a lot of women or men, there were divorces between a man and a woman when their child was not right. And so it was hard on the women because they wanted everything perfect. It was at a time when you wanted life to be as close to perfect as you could get it. And having a child was not. Although at that time things were changing. They were being accepted as who they were, and they were in homes like he's in a home now with 5 other people. So things are changed for the better.
I mean, I've heard stories even recently that it's just commonplace for you learn your baby's Down syndrome, you just have an abortion. And it's just like, I that still happens. Like, that's still a mindset.
Yeah.
And it's just...
Well, it's even worse now with everybody wanting an abortion any old time. That's
True.
bad. Yeah. No, we were fortunate that we joined a group of people whose job was to take care of special kids so that they would have one person teach them how to speak correctly, another person how to eat and different things. And it was all part of a program. And I thought that was great.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then also the name Joseph.
Joseph, again, because he was, Joseph was the mother of Mary. I picked that for him.
Okay.
Okay? Yeah.
Okay.
Good name.
Good name.
Mm-hmm.
So, what do you remember? What stands out from when your kids were little? What was life like? How did you get along with 3 kids for that period of time?
4 kids.
Well, 4 kids later.
Later, yes.
But yeah.
Just every day.
Yeah.
Every day. We'd take them to school, and then eventually went to the special school, Catholic school, and they used a bus and came home, walked home. Yeah. It was about a mile and a half, maybe 2 miles.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how old were they roughly when you guys moved out of Oakland?
Okay. We went to Livermore for 1 year. They were just grammar school.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then was that this house that you moved to, or was that a different house?
We moved to another house for a year in Livermore.
Okay.
And then we moved here, directly into this house, and we've been here all that time.
And that was like, what, 50 years ago or something?
Almost 50 years, yes.
Wow.
And everybody would move. This is a small house. It still is a small house. But at that time, the young people with their kids said, well, we need a bigger house now that they're doing things. And I didn't want a bigger house walking up and downstairs, up and downstairs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So we stayed, and we did things to the house and never gave it another thought. The prices of homes at the time, well, all along were going up. And we said, well, who knows? Maybe some year it will be worth $1 million.
I'm sure it's worth more than that now.
Well, no, it was. it reached $1 million for maybe 6 months or whatever, and
Okay.
then things started going down,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
so it's probably lost too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. So what was you were telling me a little bit yesterday, but there was like nothing around here when you guys moved out here.
Oh, right. This tract was being built.
Mhm.
I forget how many homes, 91, I think.
Okay.
And then eventually they built the school over there. And they built, other tracks all the way around. And pretty soon it took us time to get on the El Toro Road and go to the airport.
Mhm.
And yeah, yeah. You want to buy the house? No, no, you don't want to be stuck with a house at this
No.
time.
No, I mean it's a beautiful area, but it's just too expensive. Like
It is.
I went to Walmart. I literally went to Walmart and I bought just a couple of things I needed for the week, and the prices were almost double what I would pay for in Texas. Just for random items at a Walmart.
Yeah.
It's just outrageous.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Walmart is having a bad time, which is surprising.
Yeah.
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 Well, anyway. So I guess what was life like when your kids started moving out and you're kind of transitioning phases of life, I guess. What did you do? What was that like?
Isn't it terrible? You get so protective of your kids that you say, gee, I wonder how well he can do on his own without me there, to take care of him.
Mm-hmm.
No, they wanted to move out. They didn't want to stay in the house, and I didn't blame them, except for Vincent. He got his degree, and he had been working for a year, and we said, well, okay, you're all set now, out of the house. And he did.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. And that's it. That's all I remember. I remember my first grandkids.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Would that have been Michael and John?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Michael and Jonathan. Yeah.
What was that like?
That was surprising. But your mom is a strong woman. They had a small apartment down towards Dana Point, and she took care of the two kids going up and down those stairs. I remember that. But she never asked me to help her because she didn't think that I could handle two kids at the time. And hey, how many years ago was that?
35.
That was quite a few years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what was your first memory of me then? When did you meet me first?
I met you when you were a week old.
A week old.
Yeah, I came down and stayed with your mother in Texas.
Yeah.
Your mother and dad. Poor dad. I keep saying your mother and I forget to say your dad. Both of them.
Yeah.
And you were in the. There was a problem. What was it? Well, you were in the hospital for a week, I think, and then you came home and everything was good.
If I remember correctly, because my mother has told me this story many times. My head was too big, and so they had to do a C-section to get me out. Yeah.
Well, they had already done 2 C-sections.
Yeah.
You were the third.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So me and my big head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. I put my fingers on it. Yeah. Yeah, so I was there for a little while, and then I went to Texas every once in a while.
I remember you visiting us at our house in Pflugerville.
Yes,
brick house.
that
I
was a
remember
beautiful house.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We moved out of there when I was not even 6, I think. But
Oh,
I do remember you coming to visit.
yeah,
So
yeah. Because your yard at that time could have had another house in there in the yard.
mhm.
Because they wouldn't have allowed that much room. It was a big yard.
Yeah, it was a big yard. So I wanted to ask you just kind of general life things, and because it occurred to me, you were born in 31.
Mm-hmm.
That like so much happened in the world since then,
Oh, yeah.
and you've lived through all of that.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
so I guess like generally, what was it like to experience to live through most of the 1900s, right?
Yeah.
So like so much changed with like technology, like televisions weren't a thing, phones weren't hardly a thing, like cars were around, but they,
Oh, yes.
but
A lot of cars.
planes weren't a thing. Like there's so
Oh,
much.
planes was an adventure.
Commercial, yeah, like
Yeah,
planes
commercial
weren't a thing.
planes was an adventure.
What? How old were you when you first went on a plane?
I don't even remember that.
Okay.
No, I don't remember. The thing was that you dressed up when you got on a
Really?
plane.
Okay.
And I can remember there was a woman that got on the plane dressed in a suit and hat and gloves.
Mm-hmm.
And Dad, going by her, said, "You look beautiful."
Mm-hmm.
And this woman just being, yeah, because she was well dressed. But most of the time you wore your good clothes if you had some good clothes. And sometimes, whatever it was. And shoes, none of those sandals.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know, like, roughly how old you might have been? Like, would you have been in, like, a kid, or would you have been, like, in your 20s? Do you remember?
No. I went down to South America, to Mexico.
Okay.
Okay. I flew down and then took the ship back.
Okay.
Okay, so that was exciting. Norm had a good time. You can ask him. Yeah.
Okay.
No, it was great. It was a great trip. Yeah. Beautiful country, lovely people.
Yeah.
At that time.
Yeah.
Poor people, they're being hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was the first time, and we've been on a plane going to Italy, and we've been on a plane going to New Zealand,
Mm-hmm.
and from New Zealand to Australia, and then coming home. I don't know.
So, do you remember when televisions first came out?
Oh, yeah.
Did you get one, like, right away, or was it?
No, couldn't afford it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we went over to a neighbor's house.
Oh, yeah.
Once a week.
Uh-huh.
That was our night to go there and watch the TV, whatever it was.
Okay. What kind of programs were on?
Well, we watched mostly comedy.
Okay.
And we saw an old piece, 2 or 3 pieces of old stars on one of the channels just 2 or 3 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
And we looked at them and they looked so strange. And they were beautiful people. Like Carol Burnett.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw her and she was funny.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. And Elvis Presley and
Yeah.
and
so
somebody else after him.
Were you big on Elvis when he first came out, or was that?
Oh, when he first came out, the girls were already on him.
Yeah. What about
You
you though? Did you?
Yeah.
Were you crazy for him or no?
Oh, no. I was married at the time.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
No. No, he got in trouble with Ed Sullivan,
Oh, okay.
because he made his famous gyrations of his lower body.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he put his hands there or what. And Ed was all upset that he should do that in front of all these people.
Mhm. That's funny. See, like nowadays, no one would care,
No,
but at the
I
time,
don't-
that was scandalous.
yes, it was. Well,
Yeah.
when you see what some of the women wear,
Yeah.
they're almost naked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of like what else was like a big thing. When you were a kid, were there telephones in everyone's houses, or was that not a thing yet?
I think we had one.
You had one. Okay.
I think so, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, where were you for the first moon landing? How, like, what was your thoughts of all of that? Did you watch it live or?
I, Norm and I were in Livermore, and we went to the movies that night.
Mhm.
And let's see, Michael must have been, no, maybe it was your mom was 9 months old. Because we had somebody come in and watch them.
Okay. The moon landing was 69, I thought.
Was it 69?
Yeah.
I don't know.
So mom would have been like 6 or 5 or 6, something like that. I
Then
mean,
it
I might
was
be getting my dates wrong. I don't remember.
okay. No, then it was sooner then.
Yeah.
Because your mom was younger.
Yeah. Okay. Might have been. Yeah, no, I guess it would have been that early. I'm so bad with dates. I don't remember.
I don't remember.
I wasn't there, so I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I still don't remember. Dates are bad and names.
Yeah. Yeah.
I forget people's names. Oh, that's just like that joke that
Yes.
that Norm gives.
Yeah.
Just like that. Oh, how soon do you want to know?
Yeah.
That's me. Hmm?
Oh, another quick one. Who was your favorite president?
Ah,
'Cause there's been a lot since the 30s.
yeah, yeah. You know what? I haven't really paid attention to what's happening in the government and everything,
Yeah.
but I think it would have been what's the president's name now? See, I forgot. And
Remember roughly when he was president?
I know that Germany was behind the Iron Curtain there.
Oh, okay. So
And
Cold War.
Huh?
Cold War. So there was like Reagan. There was
Reagan.
Reagan. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, he was good.
Okay.
And he had a good manner about him, and he was looking forward to better things.
Mhm.
So he was an optimist. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Then we have a couple here that I wrote down. All right, here's one. So, when you were a kid and you were thinking about how your life might go and what you might want to do with your life, how, if you compare that to how your life played out, did you end up doing anything that you were not expecting to do, or did it play out kind of how you were expecting?
No, I got married.
Okay, you
Really.
did not expect to get married.
No. And I thought quite a few people in my class were becoming nuns.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so I thought, well, I'll think about that.
Okay.
And then I met Norm, and I didn't think about that.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Fair enough. Anything else though? Were there any other big surprises
in my
that
life.
that you weren't expecting?
Yeah.
No.
No.
Okay.
No.
Um. So I get. What would you say then is your biggest accomplishment in your life?
Being a good wife and being a good mother and trying to be kind, uplifting to people. Yeah.
I think that's pretty good.
Yeah. That sometimes you overlook it because you're going by at your pace, whatever it is. Some people are faster than others. And when you meet somebody who needs something, you forgot them because you're in your hurry. You're hurrying to get somewhere. So sometimes I think about that, about how maybe I could have said something. Even a smile, helps. Yeah, yeah.
So, is there anything, if you look back at your life, is there anything that you would go back and change if you could?
No, I don't think so. No, no. I don't think so because I think God made me the way I am, however I am, and I would be going against His wishes. And you ever stop to think that He has a plan for you? And whatever His plan is, it fits in with His plan for the world. So you don't want to make changes too much.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. So then, is there anything that you haven't done that you might like to do still in life?
Well, not now.
No.
I always like taking a cruise
Yeah.
because we've had 2 or 3. But Norm doesn't like it because he was in the Navy. He says, I've had enough of cruises. So anyway, and at this stage with everything, I don't know if I could manage it.
I bet you could.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have really good accommodations these days.
Oh, yes. And people with wheelchairs, which surprised me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you never know.
Never
You
know.
might have another cruise left in you. I don't know.
Maybe so.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. Um, so I also wanted to ask, because obviously you've mentioned it a lot, and I know being Catholic is a huge part of your life.
Yeah.
And I know that initially there was some hang up with Jiddu not being Catholic when you were first together.
Yeah, but
So-
they said that we could get married because we had a couple of sessions of talking over things with the pastor of the church at the time. And so they said that he was almost Catholic and gave permission.
Okay.
Yeah.
I had it told to me that Jiddu had to convert in order to marry you, but no.
He never did.
Okay.
No, we've been going to church for over 50 years. And one day there was one priest that he liked very much. And so one day he was asked him about that he was Orthodox and something or another, whatever. And the father said, well, gee, with going to church every Sunday, I think you can say you're Catholic. And that's it. So they changed it to Catholic.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, no big deal. Because Orthodox is. You know any of the history?
A little bit.
Okay. The one thing that gets me is how man is Nan.
Mankind, yeah.
Yeah. is so selfish and greedy,
Yeah.
and we are. It's very easy for us to say no or hurt somebody. And so, what was I going to say now?
The history of Orthodox.
Oh, yeah. The one thing that I can remember, which isn't much, the church was in Rome, and the Orthodox were in Greece. Okay, and so they had the money for some reason, and Rome had very little money, and they were going on one of their crusades, and on the way they stopped in where the Orthodox church is, and they went in there, and for some reason they were greedy. They went in there and destroyed things and took money and possessions. And then when they didn't even get to their destination, no. So that made a big rift between them.
Yeah.
It would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, when were your parents Catholic? Were you just raised
They
Catholic?
were. Yeah. Yeah.
And at what point did you like really take your faith seriously? Was that always the case, or
Always. Yeah.
always?
Oh, yeah.
And how would you say that has impacted your life? What has your faith in Christianity and what has that meant for you throughout your life?
Well, I always believe that God created me, and He reminds me periodically that He is God, and I am to be quiet and accept it. And it's always been like a staff. The fact that I'm a Catholic and I can see a relationship with God, which is when you stop and think about it, having a relationship with God, when you think of all the gods that have been in the world, and people used to bow and do terrible things. Okay, and we can bow because we're proud, but not because we're greedy. We can't. We have to have our relationship on a straight footing. Something wrong? Okay.
Just making sure it's still going.
Yeah. No. In fact, right now I'm going through a period where I'm reminding myself that God is here. I have a guardian angel. I don't know if you believe in angels.
In a manner of speaking, but we can talk about that another time.
Okay.
So what is this guardian angel of yours?
Well, I just have one.
Okay.
He's right with me,
Okay.
and he's supposed to be telling me when I'm doing bad. Yeah,
Okay.
he does, and giving me strength. But then that's the same thing. Well, no, different guardianship. Because I have Saint Anthony,
Okay.
you know, and I misplace things. I don't lose them. I misplace them. And I go and look for them all over the house and check things. Most of the time I can find them right in the looking. But sometimes I have to look quite often but he comes through. He lets me pass it, and then I can check it and say, "Oh, that's where it is." It's been there all along, but I did not see. And that's living. Yeah.
So if you were starting your life again
Uh huh.
and you had the opportunity to give a younger you some advice, what would you say?
I would say speak up. That's strange, but I was too often quiet when I should have spoken up. And not that I don't mean that loud, because I have known people who are, but or that I know everything or know anything, but I can give my view, or I can say something to calm something down, or I can be there.
And so you just don't think you did that enough, or
No, I keep saying, well, what is it God wants from me? I've just had an ordinary life. I've raised 4 kids. I have a husband. And like I said, I try to keep up with the church and with people. But is there something I've missed? And I don't know. I should ask St. Anthony.
maybe?
Yeah.
But I think honestly, if you can't think of anything you missed, then there probably wasn't. You're probably fine.
Okay. Because the longer I have something that I have to do and be a part of, the longer I will be living. I don't know if I want to live to be 100 years old, but that's not my choice.
I'd be happy if you lived to be 100 years old.
Why?
Because you'd still be around.
Oh, okay.
That's
That's nice.
Talk to you.
That's nice. Yeah. You don't necessarily have to agree with me either.
Yeah. No, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's one other kind of off the wall kind of question. What do you make of modern technology? Like, did you ever think when you were a kid, did you ever think that there would be such a thing as a smartphone?
No, I never gave it a thought.
Or
because
the internet or anything.
Or anything.
Yeah.
Because, well, until my Michael got into some of it, I didn't know anything about it, because you don't get a picture of what's going on the TV. Or I used to read the newspaper every morning, but we don't get it anymore. And at the time, the information that was given out was not sufficient. You'd have to go to school and take the classes. Yeah. Yeah.
Did you ever think you would see your great grandkids? Did you think?
No. No. Those. Well, even grandkids, I didn't think I didn't know what it would be like. Yeah. No. The little ones are the cutest things, and I pray for all of you. And so I always say at night time, and take care of my little ones, because they are the little ones. I say, take care of my children, because they all have their own problems. I take care of my grandchildren, same thing. And take care of my great-grandchildren, because they're still young, and they're going to be a part, like you are too, of a terrible world.
What do you mean?
The world, well, United States depends on who's going to be the leader of the United States. Whether or not they're going to be Biden, who's, I don't know. I'm glad I don't have to judge him. God is his judge. And some other person who will be strong enough, and you will have to be strong to do good things because there are too many people, the elitists, who do bad things.
Yeah.
So you're going to be living through it. And
Oh,
maybe,
boy.
well, I don't know, you might be able to do something special,
I mean,
add
maybe.
something.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. If you're traveling and learning things and you already have a good head and a good body, well, you should be there on the right side, doing something good.
I'll try.
Yeah, when you see it, you may
Yeah,
not know it exactly, but you'll know.
That's probably true. Yeah. Well, that's just about everything. I guess. Do you have like, I don't know, what was the best piece of advice that you ever received?
I don't know. No.
Okay. Well then.
But though I think of this every day, I look at the picture of Jesus, a more effeminate Jesus that I'm accepting.
Okay.
Okay, because I have one on the wall where he's carrying the cross. That is terrible. I don't like that one either.
Okay.
But the other picture has a psalm. Is it 40 or something?
Okay.
45. Be still and know that I am God. And I read that every day because you can't get too excited. They said that eventually the world will come to an end, whenever, and who knows, it might be another 1,000 years. That's a long time. And in the meantime, what's happening? Lots of things going on Earth, maybe in some of the planets. You want to go to a planet?
That'd be cool.
Okay. Well, maybe not.
Well,
Oh,
I
wouldn't.
if I could survive there, right?
Yeah. Oh, well, by the time that you want to go, you have to go to school to learn a lot of different things about being up there and everything. But you could do it if that's what you want.
Well, it's not easy enough yet.
Okay.
Because if there was like spaceships and I could just like zip over to some planet like almost instantly, and I could just like hop out in a spacesuit and take a look around, that would be cool. But we're like nowhere close to that, so yeah. I don't think I'll ever have a chance to do that. So.
Okay.
But anyway. So in closing, what do you have like advice that you think would be good for somebody like me now, in today?
Well, I thought I gave you all that advice.
Yeah.
When I said
anything else.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Let me think a little bit, okay?
Sure.
No, because you've got a good heart, see, and so it's going to be, sometimes it's difficult because you're called upon by many people for some things, and you have to decide whether or not you're the one that should take care of that. Because it might be something that somebody else can handle better, and you can judge that. That's all. Okay? Okay.
Well, I guess we're done then. Thank you for talking with me.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what you're going to do with that.
I'm gonna share it with everybody, the family.
Oh yeah.
Probably put it online if
Yeah.
anyone else wants to see it.
Uh
Because you're a very interesting person. You've had a great life, and I've learned a lot from you.
huh.
And I love you very much.
And I love you too. Yes. Yes. You're number 4.
Yeah.
That's a good number.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
All right.
I'm number 2. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Well,
Okay. Yeah.